Sarah Miller was 55 years old and lived alone in a small blue house at the end of Pine Street. The house was old. The paint was coming off. The windows made noise when the wind blew. 20 years ago, this house was full of laughter. Now it was full of silence. Sarah kept everything the same. The small bed in the corner room still had blue rocket sheets. A pair of tiny red shoes still waited by the door. On the wall, a photo of an 8-year-old boy smiled every day. Michael Miller. Born March 12, 1996. Died July 18, 2004. That night 20 years ago, Michael went to play near the lake behind the house. Sarah was inside drinking wine. She fell asleep on the sofa. When she woke up, Michael was gone. They found his body 2 days later in the water. The police said he slipped and drowned. Case closed. Sarah never forgave herself. Every year on July 18th she put fresh flowers on his grave. Every night she kissed the photo and said, "Good night, baby." Friday, October 13th, 2024. Rain was falling hard. Sarah sat on her rocking chair with a cup of tea. The clock showed 11:58 p.m. She was very tired. Her phone was on the table. It was an old phone, big buttons, black and white screen. She still used Michael's old number on it. She never changed the SIM. She liked to see Michael Redheart hash on the screen when she opened contacts. The clock turned 12 o'clock. Midnight. Suddenly the phone started ringing. The screen lit up bright. The name on the screen made Sarah's heart stop. Michael Redheart hash. Calling. Sarah stared at the phone like it was a snake. She had not heard that ringtone in 20 years. It was the same happy tune Michael chose when he was 7. Her hand shook. She picked up the phone and pressed the green button. Silence for 3 seconds. Then a small voice came. A boy's voice. Soft. Scared. "Mommy." Sarah dropped the cup. Hot tea fell on her legs, but she did not feel it. "Michael," she whispered. The voice cried. "Mommy, it's dark. Why did you let them put me here?" Sarah screamed and the phone fell from her hand. She ran to the light switch and turned on every light in the house. The phone was on the floor. The call was still connected. She picked it up slowly. "Michael. Baby. Is that you?" The little voice spoke again. "I'm cold, Mommy. Come get me, please." Then the line went dead. Sarah fell on the sofa crying and shaking. She opened the call log. 1 incoming call. Time, 0:03. Duration, 18 seconds. Number, Michael's old number. But that number was cancelled the week after the funeral. She herself went to the shop and closed it. She called the phone company at 1 a.m. The man on the line checked and said, that number has been dead for 20 years. No SIM is active. Impossible." Sarah did not sleep that night. She sat holding the phone, waiting. Morning came grey and wet. Sarah drove to Green Hill Cemetery. She walked fast between the graves. Michael's small stone was at the back. Michael Miller. Beloved son. 1996 to 2004. Fresh white flowers from last week were still there. But something new made Sarah freeze. On the stone, there were small handprints. 5 fingers each. Child size. They were wet and muddy. The prints were coming from inside the grave, pushing out. Sarah touched them. Cold mud stuck to her fingers. She ran back home. That whole day she did not eat. She sat on Michael's small bed and cried. Night came again. At 3:03 a.m. the phone rang. Michael Redheart hash. Calling. Sarah's hands shook so much she almost dropped it. She pressed answer. "Mommy," the little voice said, "I waited all day. Why didn't you come?" "Michael, baby, tell me where you are." Sarah cried. "I'm in the box, Mommy. It's so small. I can't breathe good." Sarah screamed, "I'm coming. I'm coming right now." She ran to the door in her nightdress and slippers. She opened the front door. On the doorstep was one small shoe. Red color. Wet with mud and water. Size 8. Exactly the shoe Michael wore the day he disappeared. Sarah picked it up. Inside the shoe, written in black marker, was the old handwriting. "Mommy, help." Sarah looked out into the dark street. Rain was still falling. No one was there. But far away, near the trees, she saw a small shadow run toward the lake. Sarah dropped the shoe and ran after it. She reached the lake. The water was black. The same lake that took her son. She fell on her knees in the mud. "Michael, come back." Only the wind answered. She came home wet and shaking. The phone was ringing again. She answered. This time the little voice was angry. "You left me again, Mommy. You always leave me." "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Sarah cried. "Tomorrow night I will come to you," the voice said. "Then you will feel how dark it is." The call ended. Sarah sat on the floor holding the muddy red shoe. She looked at the old family photos on the wall. Something new was in every photo now. In every picture, behind little Michael, a second small boy stood. Same face. Same clothes. But his eyes were black, and he was looking only at Sarah. Sarah screamed and pulled all the photos down. But when she looked at the blank wall, muddy handprints started appearing one by one. Small. Child size. Coming from inside the wall. Knock, knock, knock. Someone was knocking from the basement. Slow. 3 times. Sarah walked to the basement door like her legs were not her own. She opened it. Cold air came up. Down the wooden stairs, in the dark, she saw 2 small red shoes waiting at the bottom. And a little voice called up. "Mommy, come play with me, like old times." Sarah closed the door and ran. She locked herself in Michael's old bedroom. She pushed the small bed against the door. The phone rang again. She answered without thinking. The voice was very close now, like the phone was inside the room. "Open the door, Mommy. I'm home." Sarah looked at the door. Small muddy handprints started appearing on the wood. From the inside. Sarah sat on the floor of Michael's old bedroom with her back against the door. Her phone was hot in her hand. The muddy handprints on the inside of the door stopped moving. Everything became quiet. Too quiet. She waited for morning. When the sun came up, she opened the door slowly. The handprints were gone. The 2 small red shoes at the basement stairs were gone. Everything looked normal again. Sarah called her older sister Lisa. Lisa lived 1 hour away in a big white house. Lisa always said Sarah was crazy for keeping Michael's room the same for 20 years. "Lisa, something is wrong," Sarah cried on the phone. "My dead son is calling me from his old number." Lisa laughed at first. Then she became angry. "Sarah, stop it. You drink too much. Michael drowned. He is gone. Go see a doctor." Sarah shouted, "Come see for yourself." Lisa said she would come in the evening. Sarah could not wait. She needed answers now. She opened her laptop and searched old news about Michael's death. She found the police report. Date, July 20th, 2004. Cause, drowning accident. Body found after 2 days. Funeral, July 23rd, 2004. Closed casket because the body was too damaged by water. Sarah's heart felt cold. She never saw Michael's body after they pulled him from the lake. Lisa told her not to look. Lisa made all the funeral plans. Sarah remembered something strange. The day of the funeral, Lisa kept Sarah away from the coffin. Lisa said, "Don't open it. Remember him smiling." Now Sarah felt sick. Lisa arrived at 6 p.m. She walked in with a big bag of food like everything was normal. She looked around. "Where are these ghost shoes and handprints?" she asked with a smile. Sarah showed her the phone call log. Lisa looked and her face changed a little. "It is a prank, Sarah. Someone is playing with you." That night the sisters sat in the living room. Sarah kept the phone on the table between them. At 3:03 a.m. the phone rang. Michael Red Heart hash calling. Lisa jumped. Sarah pressed speaker and answered. A little boy's voice came, clear and sad. "Aunt Lisa, why did you pay the man to put me in the box?" Lisa's face became white. She tried to grab the phone, but Sarah pulled it away. The voice cried, I was sleeping, you told the man to bury me fast. I woke up in the dark. Lisa stood up fast. This is fake, she shouted. She ran to the front door and tried to leave. The door would not open. All locks turned by themselves. The little voice continued. You wanted Mommy's house and money. You said one small accident and everything will be yours. Sarah looked at Lisa. What is he talking about? Lisa started crying. It's not true. He is lying. But her eyes showed the truth. Sarah remembered more now. Lisa always wanted their parents' money. When parents died, everything went to Sarah because she had a child. Lisa was angry for years. Sarah asked slowly, Lisa, what did you do? Lisa fell on the sofa. She spoke with shaking voice. That day, Michael saw me taking money from your purse. He said he would tell you. I got scared. I paid a poor worker from the cemetery $2,000. I gave him sleeping medicine to put in Michael's juice. When the boy fell asleep, the man put him in the coffin. We buried him fast. Everyone thought he drowned. I made the lake story. Sarah screamed and hit Lisa. You buried my son alive for money. Lisa cried, he was only sleeping. The man said he would dig him out at night. I don't know what happened after. The phone spoke again. Michael's voice was ice cold now. The man felt bad. He left a small air pipe. I woke up inside the box. I screamed for days. No one came. Sarah fell on the floor. Her world broke. Lisa tried to run to the kitchen. All the cupboard doors opened at once. Knives flew out and made a circle around her on the floor. Lisa screamed. Sarah crawled to the phone. Michael, baby, I am sorry. Mommy is sorry. The little voice said, too late, Mommy. Aunt Lisa must feel the dark first. Suddenly Lisa could not breathe. Her hands went to her throat. Invisible hands were closing her neck. She fell down. Her face turned blue. Sarah watched in horror. Lisa stopped moving. Dead. The lights went out. When light came back, Lisa's body was gone. Only her phone lay on the floor. Sarah picked it up. A new message. A photo. Lisa inside a small wooden box, eyes open, mouth open in scream. Soil was falling on her face. Under the photo. Your turn soon, Mommy. Sarah dropped the phone and ran outside. She drove to the cemetery in the dark. She took a shovel from the car and started digging Michael's grave. Rain fell hard. Mud was everywhere. After hours she reached the coffin. She opened it with shaking hands. Empty. Only scratch marks inside the wood. Hundreds of small finger scratches. And one old broken phone. The same model as hers. It started ringing. Michael Red Heart # calling. Sarah answered. A voice came, not small anymore. Deeper. Cold. Hi, Mommy. I waited 20 years in the basement. Now I am big enough to open doors. Sarah turned slowly. Behind her stood a man. 28 years old. But his face was exactly Michael at 8. He never grew. Pale skin. Black eyes. Wet red shoes on his feet. He smiled the same smile from the photo on the wall. Welcome home, Mommy. Tonight we play hide and seek, forever. Sarah screamed into the rain. The graveyard gate closed by itself. No one heard her again. Sarah stood in the rain at the empty grave. The coffin was open. Only deep scratch marks inside the wood and one old broken phone. The tall man in front of her looked exactly like 8-year-old Michael, but grown-up height. His skin was white like paper. His eyes were black with no light. He wore the same red shoes, still wet after 20 years. Hi, Mommy, he said again. His voice was soft but deep. I waited so long. Sarah's legs gave up. She fell on the wet mud. Michael, baby, you are alive, she cried. He smiled the same smile from old photos. Alive? No, Mommy. I stopped being alive the day the air finished in the box. He walked closer. Every step made a small wet sound. Sarah tried to stand. I looked for you. I cried every day. You cried on top of the grave, Michael said. I heard you from below. I screamed back. You never heard. Sarah put her hands on her face. I am sorry, please forgive me. Michael stopped one step away. Forgive. That word is too small now. He turned and started walking back to the house. Come, Mommy. We have 20 years to talk. Sarah followed like a sleepwalker. The rain stopped the moment they reached the blue house. Inside, everything was dark. Michael turned on only one small lamp. The light made his face look even more dead. He sat on the sofa. Sarah sat opposite, shaking. Tell me what happened, she whispered. Michael started talking slowly. When Aunt Lisa paid the man, he felt bad. He gave me very strong sleeping medicine. He put me in the coffin while I was sleeping. He left a small plastic pipe for air. He said he would come back at midnight and dig me out. But he got scared. Police were everywhere. He ran away to another city. He never came back. I woke up inside the box. Complete dark. I screamed. I kicked. I scratched the wood until my fingers bled. The air pipe gave only a little air. I stayed alive for 12 days. I counted every hour. On day 12 the pipe broke. Everything stopped. Sarah cried so hard she could not breathe. Michael continued. A woman found me. She was a poor cleaner in the cemetery. Her name was Mary. She heard small sounds under the ground. She dug alone at night. She opened the coffin. I was almost dead. She took me home in secret. She lived in the old basement under this house. You never opened that door after I disappeared. Sarah remembered. There was one locked door in the basement she never touched. Mary gave me milk drop by drop, Michael said. She taught me to read. She told me the truth. She said my mother and aunt wanted me gone because of money. She said when I become strong, I must make them feel the same darkness. But something strange happened. My body stopped growing. I stayed 8 years old outside. Inside I grew up. Mary died 5 years ago. Since then I lived alone under the house, waiting. Sarah looked at his tall body and small child face. Tears fell fast. I kept your old phone, Michael said. I charged it with a long wire from the basement. Every night I looked up through the small window and saw you kiss my photo. I wanted to come up. But Mary said wait. Wait until you feel the same pain. He stood up. Now Aunt Lisa is finished. Only you are left, Mommy. Sarah fell on her knees. Kill me if you want. I deserve it. Michael shook his head. Death is too easy. I want you to live the same 12 days I lived. He opened the basement door. Cold air came up. Come. Sarah walked down the old wooden stairs. The basement was big. One corner was made like a small room. A tiny bed. Children's books. Drawings on the wall. All drawings showed a woman crying on a grave while a small boy screamed from below. In the middle of the floor was a new wooden box. Same size as a child coffin. The lid was open. Inside were soft pillows and one small plastic pipe for air. Sarah understood. Michael spoke quietly. 12 days. Same air pipe. Same darkness. On day 12 I will open the lid. If you are still alive, I will forgive you. If not, then we are equal. Sarah looked at the box. She saw deep scratch marks on the inside of the lid. Michael's old marks from 20 years ago. She started crying again. I will go inside. I am ready. Michael helped her lie down in the box. He put a soft pillow under her head. Mommy, he said, do you remember the lullaby you sang to me? Sarah nodded. She started singing with shaking voice. Hush little baby, don't say a word. Michael smiled. He closed the lid slowly. Darkness came. Click. Lock from outside. Sarah heard him push the box against the wall. Then his footsteps went up the stairs. The basement door closed. Complete silence. Only the small sound of air through the pipe. Day 1 began. Sarah closed her eyes and prayed. Upstairs, Michael sat on the sofa and opened Sarah's phone. He started a live video on a secret website. The camera showed the wooden box from above. Title of the video: Mommy learns what 12 days feels like. Hundreds of people joined to watch. Many of them were children who were hurt by parents. They typed messages. Let her feel it. Make her scream. No mercy. Michael read the messages and smiled his child's smile. He turned on the basement speaker. Sarah heard his voice inside the box. Day 1, Mommy. Only 11 more to go. Sarah started crying in the dark. The nightmare had just started. Sarah lay in the wooden box. The darkness was thick like water. Only the tiny hiss of the air pipe told her she was still alive. She screamed until her voice broke. No one answered. Upstairs, Michael watched TV with the sound low and ate cereal like a normal boy. Day 2. The air felt heavier. Sarah counted every breath. She scratched the lid once, then stopped. She remembered Michael's fingers had bled doing the same. She cried and said sorry 1,000 times. Day 3. She started seeing things in the dark. Small hands. Michael's face at 8 years old. He smiled and waved. Then his face changed, skin fell off, eyes became black holes. Sarah screamed again. Day 4. Michael opened a small slot and pushed in 1 bottle of water and 1 apple. His voice came soft through the hole. Eat slow, Mommy. Only 8 days left. Sarah drank the water in 2 seconds. She saved the apple. Day 5. The apple started to rot. Smell filled the box. Sarah felt bugs on her skin. She scratched her arms until blood came. She sang the lullaby to herself to stay calm. Day 6. She began talking to the darkness. I know I was a bad mother. I drank too much. I did not watch you that day. Please, Michael, open the box. No answer. Only the hiss of the pipe. Day 7. Sarah's phone was inside the box. Michael had put it there. It rang once every day at 3:03 a.m. She answered every time. Michael's little boy voice said the same words. 7 days gone, Mommy. 5 more. Then the call ended. Day 8. Sarah's nails broke. Her voice was only a whisper now. She wet herself. The smell was terrible. She started to see her own mother who died long ago. Her mother said, "You deserve this." Day 9. She tried to sleep to save air. But dreams were worse. She dreamed she was 8-year-old Michael, waking up in the coffin, screaming, no one coming. She woke up crying and hitting the lid. Day 10. The pipe made a strange sound. Less air came. Sarah felt her chest hurt. She understood Michael made the pipe smaller on purpose. She begged, I am dying, please. Day 11. Her skin felt cold. She could not move her legs. She held the phone and pressed call to Michael's number herself. He answered. Hi, Mommy. Sarah used her last strength. Michael. I love you. I always loved you. Forgive me. Michael was quiet a long time. Then he said, one more day. Day 12. Sarah could not open her eyes. Everything was black even when eyes were open. She felt herself float. She saw light far away. She thought, this is death. Then she heard the lock open. The lid opened. Cold fresh air came in. Michael's face looked down. Still 8 years old, still black eyes. Sarah tried to speak. Only a small sound came. Michael lifted her out like she was a doll. He carried her upstairs. He put her on the sofa and covered her with a blanket. He gave her water sip by sip. Sarah opened her eyes slowly. She saw Michael sitting beside her, holding her hand. Day 12 finished. Mommy, he said softly. You lived. Sarah cried weak tears. Thank you, baby. Michael smiled the sweetest smile. Now we are equal. I forgive you. Sarah closed her eyes, happy for the first time in 20 years. Michael waited until she fell asleep. Then he took a big black marker and wrote on the living room wall in big letters. Mommies who forget their kids. Deserve second chance. He kissed Sarah's forehead. Sleep well, Mommy. He walked to the front door, opened it, and stepped outside. The morning sun was bright. He was still 8 years old, still wearing red shoes. He looked back once, waved, and walked down the street. People saw a little boy walking alone. Some smiled. Some waved. No one saw the black eyes. Michael never came back to the blue house. Sarah woke up 3 days later. She was weak but alive. The box was gone. The basement was empty and clean. Only the writing on the wall stayed. Sarah sat on the sofa every day after that. She never drank wine again. She kept the door open all the time. She waited for Michael to come home. He never did. But every year on July 18th, fresh flowers appeared on the empty grave. No one knew who put them there. And every night at 3:03 a.m., Sarah's phone rang once. She always answered. A happy little voice said, "Good night, Mommy. I love you." Then the call ended. Sarah smiled and went to sleep. She knew her son finally found peace. And she found hers. Some mothers get 12 days in hell to become good again. Some little boys wait 20 years to teach love. The phone still rings every night. But now it is a lullaby, not a scream.